another video, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than some of my previous videos. So a while ago, I did a video talking about like setting your intention for the day and just planning for your morning and starting your morning off in an intentional way. Today, I want to talk about setting yourself up for success when it comes to achieving your goals. I see a lot of videos that talk about hacking your brain to do hard things or tricking yourself into doing hard things. And those just don't really sit right with me, honestly. And relying on these hacks and this motivation just isn't going to cut it. And I also want to share things that work for me when it comes to actually making progress towards my goals and being consistent in doing the things that I say I want to do. Now, I'm going to start with I am not always the most consistent person. I don't always do the things that I say that I want to do or that I'm going to do. Like for me, I know there are certain goals that I'm really good at achieving and certain goals that it takes more work and more effort for me to accomplish. And when I say that, I mean like if I have a goal of completing a class or doing a competition or training for something, those are goals that have like tangible kind of outcomes, or I can see a real clear finish line. Those are the goals that I without a doubt in my mind, know that I will accomplish those because for whatever reason, that's just something that really motivates me, and my motivation stays up there pretty consistently. But when it comes to goals like growing this YouTube channel or putting in more time with like the little Etsy shop that I have or reading more, those are goals that I don't always follow through with. So, with that said, let's get to it. Now, we all know that when we feel motivated to do something, we're going to do it. There's just something in us that is driving us forward and keeping us going and pushing through, obstacles or low energy, or we're just really excited in the moment about whatever that goal is. And usually our motivation is the highest when we're first starting something or when we first start to see results from something. And that's when the motivation is up there. We're like, okay, this thing is new, it's exciting, I'm seeing the possibility and the room for growth, and we're just all on board. But after a while, we might start to like plateau, or we might hit a wall, or just come up against a really big obstacle or barrier that causes that motivation to start to come down. And when that motivation starts to come down, a lot of us have a hard time picking it back up. And if we're just relying on that motivation to keep us going, then once it's down, we're down. And we're not actively working towards the things that we say that we want or the goals that we say that we want to accomplish. So, what do we do? What do we do when our motivation is low, and how do we keep moving through it? Because one thing I've learned is motivation comes in waves, it comes and goes, it's not consistent. So, what do we do when our motivation is at a low and it's staying pretty low for a while? That's when I think routines and habits become more important. That's when really understanding your reasoning and your why behind your goal is really important. So, what made you start this thing in the first place? What is it that you're trying to accomplish for yourself? And what are you trying to get out of this goal? Because, like it or not, we all are self serving in some kind of way. So, we're not doing something most of the time just for the fun of it or just for the hell of it. We're doing it because we're gaining something from it. So, what are you gaining from this goal? And what does it really mean to you? and not on like a basic level, on something that's just really superficial. Like, really sit and think about how this goal connects to your values, how this goal connects to what your kind of purpose is. And once those things are connected to a little bit of your sense of self and your belief system and your core values, it means a lot more. And when things have more meaning to us, we put more into it. They hold more weight and we're more likely to see them through. So, for example, last year, one thing that I wanted to do and accomplish was run a half marathon. And so I started looking up training programs and figuring out, okay, how can I do this? How can I, have this program in between, work and my regular life and regular workouts and all these things. And I thought about, why was this something that I wanted to do? Because I wanted to prove to myself that I could. It had been like a few years since I had done any type of like competition, any type of race, anything like that. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could still do it, that I still had it. And that was my why, because I just wanted to show myself that I was still physically capable of doing things that I've done in the past. And that's important to me. My physical health is really important to me. And my physical capabilities is something that's definitely tied to my self worth and my beliefs about myself, whether that is good or bad, it is. And when I accomplished that goal, I felt really great, because the day of the half marathon was not what I wanted it to be. It was raining, it was cold. By the time I was done, my feet were soaking wet. It was just a mess. I would never choose to run something like that in the rain again, but I'm glad I didn't give up and I'm glad that I saw it through. So that's what I mean when I say like connecting your goals to a bigger reason or a bigger purpose. And those are the things that are going to help you keep moving forward even when your motivation's low. Something else that's helpful is also having routines and building habits and setting yourself up for success by making a plan, because everybody has heard the saying, fail to plan, you plan to fail. And there is some truth to that. Like, you might not have to necessarily have a plan for every second of your life, but when it comes to these bigger things that you're trying to accomplish, you don't want to just be walking around blind. You don't want to not have a direction that you're going in. You want to at least have an outline or the beginnings of some kind of map to help you get to where you're going. And when I'm setting goals, I kind of like to break them down a little bit. I know everybody's heard about the SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And I don't necessarily use that specific outline, but I like to break my goals down into, okay, what is the big goal that I'm trying to achieve? And then break it down into action steps that I can do over a week, a month, and that's honestly where I stop. I'm not a 6 month planner, I'm not a year planner. I need to just look at what's in front of me. And by doing that, I can track what I'm doing, how far I'm going forward, and what's actually working. So I like to take it a week at a time. So this week, something that I wanted to accomplish was doing a new video and posting it, which I did. And I wanted to come up with ideas for future videos, which I did. So that way, next week, I can build on that goal that I accomplished and keep moving forward. I think tricking ourselves or hacking your brain into doing hard things There is no trick. You just do it. You find what works for you and you stick with it. You try what doesn't work for you and you say, all right, I tried that. It didn't work. Cool. Move on to the next thing. And I think the sooner that we stop trying to trick ourselves into doing things and stop trying to find all the little rewards along the way, we'll stop being distracted. Because, at least for me, accomplishing the goal is a pretty big reward. And if we're so focused on, okay, if I do this, I'll give myself this. And if I do this, I'll treat myself to that. Those things come naturally. When you feel like you're being productive and you feel like you're accomplishing things, you are more likely to treat yourself better. You're more likely to reward yourself with those things anyway. And I think we overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate goal setting, we overcomplicate our morning routines. It doesn't have to be this big, difficult thing. It just doesn't. It is so much simpler than we're making it. It's so much simpler than half of these videos are talking about. It's just breaking things down into one step at a time and focusing on that one step until you've accomplished it. And then you focus on the next step. And if you ever get to a point where you're not moving forward, literally look back at the steps that you've taken. That's why I like to write my goals down and write down my action steps. That way I can look back and see, what have I actually done? When I feel like I'm not moving forward, I can look back and see, no, I've accomplished these things. I've been productive. I have been moving forward, even if it doesn't always feel like it. So I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to say it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be difficult. It's all about perspective and how you choose to look at things, how you choose to look at your goals, and what steps you choose to take towards them. So I'm going to end this video with an action step for you. What is a goal that you've been sitting on for a while, or a goal that you've been feeling really stuck with? And whether you share it in the comments or not is up to you. But I want you to really think about what action step you can take this week. Just one thing. One step that you can take that will move you just a little bit closer towards that goal, and go from there. So if you found this video helpful, give it a little like, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like these, leave that in the comments too, because I love talking about this kind of stuff. And if you're interested in it, then that's what I'll spend some more time doing. But like always, leave in the comments things that you're actually interested in seeing, because that helps me come up with more ideas for videos. But for now, that's all that I wanted to spend some time on. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later.